At the Shanghai World Expo, Inc. is a first-time collaboration between Chinese and US dancers, performers, and choreographers. I was extremely interested in bringing together American dancers and Chinese dancers to build something bigger than ourselves.
The Expo is a pretty big deal, not just for China, but for the world. It's a world's fair. And as such, there was huge participation from all the countries of the world. There were 70 million visitors. It covered a vast amount of land in Shanghai. The Olympics was China coming out into the world, but the Expo was China inviting the world into China to say, here's who we are. And it was very important to them that the United States of America participate in this. My colleagues at the US Pavilion saw the benefit of backing this and giving it to the Expo as a gift from the United States of America. And I thought we couldn't do better for the Expo than give them Hallie Rose.
I did spend from 1994 to 2007 studying in China, graduated from the Beijing Dance Academy, worked for the National Song and Dance Operatic Troupe, which is a Communist Party art troupe in China, and also had the history and experience of building my own dance drama called Phoenix for the Dashanzi International Art Festival in China. And with that in my backpack, I was interested in taking a journey that brought other dancers, whether they be from the States or from China, together to build something that would be fantastic for the Shanghai International Music Festival.
现代舞的舞种其实是来自于西方，在中国的发展它很短，所以从来没有就是美国现代舞和中国这边的一个交流，甚至是结合，同时搬上舞台，让全世界的人看。所以对于这次来说，我希望就是这次会很成功。当然，这也比较是中国人骄傲吧。
The undertaking was very large to create a 9.5-minute piece in the course of 3 weeks. We were with each other 9 to 10 hours each day. And you have 18 dancers and choreographers in China who don't speak English. And we have 4 to 5 dancers and choreographers from America who don't speak Chinese.
Actually, I thought that it would be a little easier to communicate. I thought that, they would speak English or something, that it wouldn't be such a cultural barrier. But I think that that's been a really great part of the experience, is learning how to communicate without words, just like through dance.
跳舞是你用另一种方式去跟别人对话，去对待别人看你的感觉。当别人看你的时候，注视你的时候，是证明你身体的肢体的语言和你的情感已经感染了对方。对于演员来说，他们是很和蔼可亲的和我们来接触。虽然说语言上有一些障碍，但是我们觉得我们是舞蹈演员，我们本来就是用肢体语言来讲话的人，所以说呢，我们用肢体语言来告诉对方，来学习一些东西，我们觉得很有趣，很有意思。
I think that they're used to a way of working and a way of setting choreography that is not necessarily contemporary for 2010. They're used to moving in unison. It's something that you could see in the 2008 Olympics. It's phenomenal that all of those dancers could move in unison in time. It's a different way of thinking, a different way of looking at art, a different way of creating. I think that's really what's most challenging.
西方现代舞更讲究的是表现就是我这个人，我此时此刻我在干什么，我在想什么，我怎么做的，我这个动作我为什么要下地，我怎么利用地面上的东西，怎么利用空间，这是西方现代舞给我的一些感受。
最主要的区别就是，西方的舞蹈是比较开放，比较完美，比较超前，但是中国的舞蹈它有它自己最大的风格，就是比较内在，比较有韵律。
Well, I think that the American sense of detail, when I say detail, I just mean like putting a mark on the floor. And then the Chinese will be like, are you going to see that? Why don't we feel it or have a sense of it? They'll use more of their senses, but they'll be just as clear. I think they're more used to going with the flow, and we're more used to rules and knowing ahead of time exactly what something's going to be. Personally, I like knowing ahead of time.
西方的现代舞它比较讲究直线条的东西，一种非常流畅连贯。中国的舞蹈就比较讲究阴阳顿挫，起承转折，就包括像提、沉、冲、靠这些东西，就是身体上的韵律会多一点。这也跟中国的戏曲啊、武术啊、太极啊这些东西受这些东西影响吧，还是。
It's been a real challenge for me to like get into a group mentality here, but I think in terms of just I think there's a lot to learn about the way the Chinese work, and I'm really grateful to be here.
Our organizers truly kept changing the regulations on when we could perform, the day that we were performing, the times that we were performing, whether we could perform or not, when we were supposed to come for dress rehearsal, whether they were allowed to play our LED art, whether they were allowed to play our music. So those things would be constantly changing. We were also told before we came that we would have Marley on the floor, and so when we arrived, we realized that there was no Marley, and the piece is created where most of the dance is happening on the floor. So we had to come up in 3 days with 300 square meters of Marley, and we also had to get that approved within the expo.
Well, today we ran the piece a couple times, once just in the space and the next time with music, and it's pouring rain outside.
I think ink is not just a modern dance. The more interesting thing is, I have to say, it's still about culture. I think why ink, the performance, is very touch the audience is because it brings two different culture in together and have a different cultural background people working this project and show a perfect image together. And these perfect images happen to be a modern performance art. So I think maybe that's one most attractive point to make audience like it. If I can only use one sentence to say ink, I think it's a good mixed salad, a delicious mixed salad of different cultures.
The thing I love about Ink is that it is a great modern dance production, completely appropriate for the audience that we are welcoming at Expo. Culturally, when embracing the arts, for a lot of people in China, it is embracing things for the first time and learning and seeing these different art forms for the first time. And I think that's what Expo is all about.
I'm glad to see the different people because I noticed there were, Western people and Asians. And I was so amazed because different people can work out the same idea and expressing the same thing. And it's wonderful.
The great thing about cultural exchange is it gives people a reason to admire the essence of their respective humanities. And whether it's visual arts or performance arts or music, it's just the best way of people-to-people diplomacy.
The Ink project to me is so cool. It's so cool. And this time with the collaboration with Ink, it's like kind of make one of my dreams come true. And in the end, I have to say I'm very happy to see the results. It's very beautiful.
The opportunity to perform at the Shanghai World Expo was less about creating an art form that no one else could create and was more about leaving a record of a symmetry between two nations or an asymmetry between two nations. And it was also to leave a record that we are able to understand and trust each other, and we don't have to be born in the same place or come from the same village.
Bye bye.
Like too sad. Like I don't like this right now.